These people are hostile to outsiders and have killed those who have approached or landed on the island. The Sentinelese appear to have consistently refused any interaction with the outside world. Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Jam's channel. Today's topic is quite interesting, so watch it till the end. And if it's your first time, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Is it possible to come across someone who's unaware of the rest of the world or has not yet faced the modern world? Well, the Bay of Bengal has something to reveal. Along with the Great Andamans, the Jarawas, the Onge, the Shompen, and the Nicobaris, the Sentinelese are one of the 6 native and often reclusive people of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Unlike the others, the Sentinelese appear to have consistently refused any interaction with the outside world. The Sentinelese are the most isolated tribe in the world and have captured the imagination of millions. They live on this small forested island called North Sentinel, which is approximately the size of Manhattan. North Sentinel Island is often described as the hardest place to visit in the world. These people are hostile to outsiders and have killed those who have approached or landed on the island, and they continue to resist all such contacts, attacking anyone who comes near. Most of what is documented about the Sentinelese has been gathered by viewing them from boats moored more than an arrow's distance from the shore, and a few brief periods where the Sentinelese allowed the outsiders to come in close contact. In 1771, an Indian merchant ship called the Nineveh ran aground on the reef. 86 passengers and 20 crew managed to swim and manage their way to the beach. After 3 days of silence, Sentinelese finally decided that the intruders had overstayed their territory, a point they made with iron-tipped arrows. It is through such contacts and observations that we have come to know that the Sentinelese hunt and gather in the forest and fish in the coastal waters. Unlike the neighboring Jarawa tribe, they make boats which are very narrow outrigger canoes, described as too narrow to fit 2 feet in. These can only be used in shallow waters. Back in the days, the British decided to declare Sentinel Island part of Britain's colonial holdings. In the late 1800s, Mr. Portman, the British officer in charge of the Andamanese, landed with a large team on North Sentinel Island in the hope of contacting the Sentinelese. After a few days, they finally managed to come in close contact with a few of them who, in the trust of science, were taken to Port Blair, the island's capital. Quite evidently, they soon fell ill and the adults died. Among those, the children were taken back to their island with a number of gifts. It is not known how many Sentinelese became ill as a result of this contact, but it's likely that the children would have passed on their diseases and the results would have been devastating. Their extreme isolation makes them very vulnerable to diseases to which they have no immunity. Any contact with the outside world would almost certainly have tragic consequences for them. This could have been the reason behind Sentinelese' continued hostility and rejection of outsiders, but no one can say for sure. In 1896, an escaped convict tried to flee the Great Andaman Island penal colony on a raft. Unfortunately, he washed ashore on North Sentinel Island. A colonial search party found his remains a few days later, full of arrow wounds, with his throat cut. It was then decided that the British would leave the Sentinelese in peace, at least for the next century or so. It is thought that the Sentinelese live in 3 small bands. They have 2 different types of houses, large communal huts with several hearths for a number of families, and more temporary shelters with no sides, which can sometimes be seen on the beach, with space for 1 small family. The women wear fiber strings tied around their waists, necks and heads. The men also wear necklaces and headbands, but with a thicker waist belt. The men carry spears and arrows. During the 1970s, the Indian authorities made occasional trips to North Sentinel in an attempt to befriend the tribe. Such visits became more regular in the 1980s. The teams would try to land at a place out of the reach of arrows and leave gifts such as coconuts, bananas, and bits of iron. Sometimes the Sentinelese appeared to make friendly gestures, but on other occasions, they would take the gift into the forest and then fire arrows at the intruders. In 1996, the regular gift dropping mission stopped. Many officials were beginning to question the wisdom of attempting to contact people who were healthy and content and who had thrived on their own for up to 55,000 years. This small tribe gained international attention in the wake of 2004 Asian tsunami, when a member of the tribe was photographed on a beach, firing arrows at a helicopter which was checking on their welfare. Until now, we know how they live in their shelters. But what do they eat for their living if they are cut off from the rest of the world? We know that they build small narrow canoes which they maneuver in the shallow calm waters inside the reef. They go for fishing and are fond of crabs. They are hunters, and they probably live on fruits and tubers that grow wild on the island, eggs from seagulls or turtles, and small game like wild pigs or birds. They carry arrows as well as spears and knives to hunt. In 2006, two Indian fishermen who had moored their boat near North Sentinel to sleep after poaching in the waters around the island were killed when their boat broke loose and drifted onto the shore. The most recent contact took place back in November 2018 when Mr. Chow, a 26-year-old American, traveled to North Sentinel Island with the aim of contacting and living among the Sentinelese and preaching them the religion of Christianity. Mr. Chow didn't seek the necessary permits required to visit the island and traveled illegally to the island by bribing local fishermen. He was aware of all the risks he may encounter, but also expressed a clear desire to convert them to his religion. On 15th November, Mr. Chow attempted his first visit in a fishing boat, which took him about 700 meters from the shore. The fishermen warned Mr. Chow not to go further, but he canoed towards the shore with a waterproof Bible. As he approached, he attempted to communicate with the islanders and tried to offer gifts, but he retreated after facing hostile responses. On another visit, Mr. Chow recorded that the islanders reacted to him with a mixture of amusement, bewilderment, and hostility. He attempted to sing worship songs to them and tried to communicate with them, after which they often fell silent. Other communications ended with them bursting into laughter. They apparently communicated with lots of high-pitched sounds and gestures. Eventually, according to Mr. Chow's last letter, when he tried to hand over fish and gifts, the boy shot a metal-headed arrow but he narrowly escaped. On his final visit, on 17th November, Mr. Chow instructed the fishermen to leave without him. The fishermen later saw the islanders dragging Mr. Chow's body, and the next day they saw his body on the shore. Indeed, it was a sad ending for Mr. Chow.